Well, we're 2.5 games through the first day of the Magic Weekend. We're at half-time in Warrington, Salford. Still to come, Leeds, the champions, against Wakefield. That's a 7 o'clock start, Sky Sports HD4 and Sky Sports 4. HD4, by the way, if you want to watch the Super League in glorious high definition, is on channel 454. This is the way the match stands at the moment, and Warrington in complete control. 38-12, they lead the Salford City Reds at half-time. Well, there's, of course, another full day of action from Murrayfield for you coming tomorrow, and the Luke Robinson fan club are already here and have claimed their places ready for the Wigan-Huddersfield match that will be on 2nd tomorrow afternoon. But right now we have the second half coming of Warrington and Salford. Salford and Warrington, 38-12, back to Bill in the commentary box.
And Warrington on course for a double over the Reds already this season, having beaten them on Good Friday 32 points to 2. But it's Salford who get the second half underway with a mountain to climb already in this match against a Warrington side who, to Sean McRae's, well, probably not dismay, he knew what they were up against, but to his disappointment, have found this Reds defence easy at times to pierce. Riley's done that, Hicks has done it twice. 7 try scorers already. And Warrington aren't done yet. Heading for the top of the table this evening. And you can guarantee that the Wolves supporters will be ready to celebrate that fact. It might be short-lived. Wigan and Saints in action tomorrow. I'll tell you what, if the Luke Robinson fan club are here already getting in the mood, by tomorrow afternoon, they are going to be in some mood.
Frozen. They'll be frozen by this time tomorrow.
They're hardy girls. They're hardy girls. Here's Philip Luluai for the Salford City Reds.
Hold the 10.
Alka now. Sidlow. Quickly closed down by Morley, again putting in a big shift for his side. No let up from Morley. I wonder if we're going to see another 80-minute from the Wolves skipper. He must be enjoying himself. There he is.
You're still moving, Stuart.
32 years of age and over 400 club and representative appearances passed just last month, in actual fact, for Adrian Morley. And in the tackle there for his side. On the last now, and Matty Smith, scorer of a great first half try for the Salford City Reds, hoists the kick, and Riley underneath it well. Remember, Riley at fullback, no Richie Mathers, and they'll have to go back and take it from the middle. Mathers at home celebrating the birth of his daughter with wife Sasha. And I agree with Phil, why not have that little mark on the 20-metre line where you've got to take the restart from?
Well, I think I'd like to just give Chris Riley some credit there. A fantastic kick in the in-goal area, the ball that's swirling in a difficult wind here inside this stadium. And, you know, they did look to counter-attack very quickly. On that occasion, it was set backwards. Great offload by Solomona.
Doing what he does best, Solomona. Myler flapping his arms in the middle of the field, saying, why didn't you give me that pass, Chris Riley? Because Myler, the way he supports, might well have got there. The kick, though, from Breers for Hicks to chase. Hicks does chase, but he's beaten to the ball by Stephen Tyrer. But Tyrer is bundled into touch. Good result for the Warrington Wolves, anyway.
Great kick and a great result. Enthusiastic chase from Chris Hicks. I'm sure Tyrer could hear the footsteps behind him. He dropped a similar ball in the first half. Did his very best to get out, but he was faced with Hicks and Bridge.
Just look at the offload by Solomona. Arms free in between 2 defenders. Just puts it on a plate for Chris Riley. Great rugby league, and again, good covering defence there by Salford.
And I think Riley made the right decision in holding on to that ball. I think there was a defender, there might have been a defender in between him and Myler. Myler might have been flailing his arms, but I really think Riley made the right decision.
He did. He was being closed down, and he knew that maybe if he tried the pass, the chances were it was going to ricochet off that Salford player who was closing in on him. Here's David Solomona, bulky figure for the Warrington Wolves. But great handler of the ball, Solomona. That says bulk didn't really doesn't tell the whole story. Here he is again. Cooper trying his own footwork. Breers, Bridge, Westwood, Hicks looking for 3, but goes to ground there. Then Breers stabs the kick in. Anderson will chase and get there. And Vinnie Anderson joins the scorers, does he? Yes, he does, says the referee. No need for a video ref decision there. And Vinnie Anderson gets his first try of this Super League season. Back in the side, having missed 5 games. And on the score sheet as Warrington continue their domination here at Murrayfield.
Well, good plays in any sport make things look simple, and Warrington have done that. On the previous play, I think they threw 10 or 12 passes. It really stretched the Warrington defence around across the side of the field. He placed it between 2 defenders, and Vinnie Anderson was the first to the ball here. His strength, perhaps, and the fact he's a little bit taller than Fitzpatrick, helped as it sat up kindly for him. And they started the second half again with a great willingness to go on with this game. It's hard sometimes to play with an ignorance of the scoreboard, but Warrington has shown an ability to do that.
He's had injury problems, Vinnie Anderson. Missed 5 games, he's been sub for the last 2. He's sub again today for the Warrington Wolves, but off the bench, onto the score sheet, as is Ben Westwood again with another successful conversion. Warrington are heading for the top of the table, that's for sure. 44 points to 12. They lead now, and they haven't finished yet. More punishment for Salford to come, surely.
When Lee Breers gets this ball, he checks up, looks left, and there's 4 Warrington players in the frame. The Salford players have got to come up, because if he didn't go for that kick and they tried to defend on the heels, he just would have hit one of them, who just would have steamrolled it underneath the sticks.
From the restart, Myler in possession, and Mike Cooper charges it forward, just back from a loan spell at the Castleford Tigers, where he bagged a couple of tries, but recalled by the club. Is there the temptation in this second half with the game in the bag, surely, for the Warrington Wolves? They've got, of course, a big Challenge Cup tie coming up next weekend, rerun against the Huddersfield Giants. Is there the temptation maybe to just conserve something?
Well, I'm sure that might come into the thinking a little later in the half. I think it might have come into the team selection so far when we look at no Paul Wood, no Mickey Hyam in the side. I mean, they're 2...
Matt King absent
Matt
as
King
well.
Obviously is another absentee, yes. So I'm sure it might come in if this scoreline blows out a little further.
Well, the easiest way to conserve energy, Bill, is to keep scoring tries and get that minute-and-a-half rest when you walk back while the kick's been taken.
All right.
I think that's the approach. You need to build winning habits and positive ones. I think Warrington are trying to do that this year. They've done it well so far in the first half of this campaign. And it's going to be a very difficult half-an-hour period here now for Salford.
And all the best teams that's played in the history of rugby, they'll always put the opposition to the sword. They won't look at next week. Forget next week. You've got to concentrate on this next 40 minutes of rugby.
Well, they're in try-scoring mood, point-scoring mood of the Warrington Wolves. 40 points to 6 winners last weekend against the Catalan Dragons. 44-12 now, the lead against the Salford City Reds. It's Salford in possession. That's the problem they've had, getting a hold of the ball, and they can't keep a hold of it there. And Morley has it back, and he looks up and sees the try line. And just for a moment, maybe thought of going the distance, but Ratchford took his ankles.
He better have good eyesight to see the try line from there.
I'm not sure he quite had sprinter's technique to get there then, Adrian Morley.
Breers has to stretch for that. Stephen Ratchford, there's Stuart Littler in the shots, involved in the tackle. Here's Grix now. On the 20-metre line, Simon Grix is tackled. Solomona shaped to put a little kick in there, then got the ball to Atkins. Always trying something, David Solomona. Breers, he will hoist the kick, and Hicks will challenge for this one against Tyra. Hicks palms it back, and Bridge will retrieve it. No, he won't. Nobody will. And Tyra did well there. He challenged for it, but he knocked it on, said the referee. Disappointment from Stephen Tyra. He thought he'd done well. Was it Tyra's knock-on rather than Hicks palming it back, perhaps? Or was it the knock-on there? I think it was the knock-on there.
It's that second knock-on. I think he was lucky to get away with the first one. I think he's patted it forward, but the ref pulls it back for that one.
Here's the angle. They're both up in the air contesting for it. I think it's probably knocked backwards by Warrington. But at this point here now, it just ricochets on the left arm. And Warrington from a scrum shift it wide. You want to use the power and pace of Ryan Atkins if they can. One-on-one situations on a full-width pitch here.
Not a lot going right for the Salford City Reds. Little things like that helping to condemn them to spending a lot of time defending their own try line as Grix goes across the field. Retreats to get the ball away to Vinnie Anderson, and Anderson, latest of the Wolves try scorers, finds Chris Riley. Just eager to get involved in the action, Riley.
Just look at the number of passes they're making and the amount of work. If you look at the red shirts, every time there's a pass or an offload, how hard you have to work to get to cover it.
And that one didn't stick. And Breers is on his back, furious with himself at that. Hicks waiting, just looking for the hat-trick try there.
To pull that off without looking was going to be a difficult one. I mean, he can pass the ball that distance and that accurately, but I think he needs to be looking at Chris Hicks.
Arms around Chris. Stay.
So Salford have the ball back, but on their own 10-metre line. And the Warrington Wolves supporters in good voice, enjoying a big weekend here in Edinburgh, that's for sure. There's a lot going on. It's been a busy day in actual fact. The Edinburgh Derby, Hearts against Hibs up the road. You've got the Edinburgh 10K run. Ian Hunter playing this evening in Edinburgh in the Picture House in Edinburgh. The former Mott the Hoople singer. No, I'm looking at these guys. Ian Hunter, Mott the Hoople, and it's a blank. It's a blank. It's a tragedy. All the young dudes.
Bill, penalty, ball steal.
Come on, Scott. Wait for his foot.
Salford have the penalty. They are inside the Warrington half.
Now we're back on track.
Track was all the young dudes.
Oh, they've lost the ball on the first tackle.
And Solomona has it. Oh, a little ball back inside.
They're just not helping themselves at all, Salford. Adam Sidlow just has a little look up. That's the 8th handling error that they've made in this game. They're also starting to fall off the tackles.
Move. Go.
And there's a knock. Oh no, it's another decision. And look at dejection on the Salford's faces as they hear the whistle, turn around and see James Child indicating another penalty kick.
It's doubling up your mistakes. First it's the handling error, then it's a penalty, trying to make up for it. Then all of a sudden you're defending you 20 yards from your line.
Well, here's Tyrone McCarthy.
Move. Hold that in.
Young player who's dual registered with the Lee Centurions, as is another Warrington player, Matty Blythe, who we saw having a big game for the Centurions on Sky Sports on Thursday night in their latest victory. Took them to the top of the table. This is the Warrington side heading for the top of the table now.
Hold, go.
Vinnie Anderson, Myler, Solomona imploring him to give him the pass there, but he couldn't get the ball away.
Go.
Anderson is toying with the Salford defence now at the Warrington Wolves. And Chris Bridge comes across the field, looks for the gap, almost finds it, gets the ball away. It was forward, was it? No, not so. Myler gets the try against his former club. And Bridge, the architect there, and Richie Myler, once of the Salford City Reds, once a prolific try scorer for them, gets his 8th try of what could be a prolific season for this Warrington Wolves club. And finishing off that move, supporting, as he does so well, the break by one of his teammates.
Well, the Wolves are almost toying with the Reds at times here. There's been some nice play in the build-up to this try, some short into passing, put them in the centre of the field, and then you knew that he was going to explode off that left foot, and that is wonderful play with the right hand, just putting the ball into a position that he knew through experience and through training Myler would approach. He just steps, waits, times and pushes hard, just holds that ball up, and that's brilliant support play. You look at all the other Warrington players who are just standing back. Myler isn't. The reason why he gets so many tries, puts himself in a position to convert them.
Lee Breers has taken over the goal-kicking duties, and he's landed that one. A disappointment, surely, for Ben Westwood, who is off the field having a well-earned breather. But if he'd been on, he would have kicked that and landed a personal best in goal-kicking terms at 7. Probably not a priority for him today. He'll just be delighted to be in this position.
That is a wonderful ball, Bill. That is a wonderful ball from Chris Bridge. That's how you execute an offload, a late offload.
But as well, Richie Myler offering himself on more or less every play.
Rhys Williams now. Chunky figure, this 20-year-old winger. Could have a big future in the game, already a Welsh international. His brother to come through the system as well. So Salford heading for another defeat this season. Warrington, a big win. And they've been beaten here heavily as well, or beaten in Cardiff, in fact, in this Magic weekend. 50 points to 18 in 2007. Well, it's 50 points to 12 now, so even more painful. And you get the feeling it could get even more painful for them. Still a quarter of the game to go, and Warrington showing no signs of letting up. And Solomona, so difficult to stop there, and he was looking around, he was wrestling with the Salford defenders at one point, but still looking over his shoulder to get the ball away, and ultimately it ends up with Chris Hicks trying to bump off the challenge of Matty Smith. Can't do so. Plays the ball on the 20-metre line. And Breers now, a crossfield kick, audacious one, looking for Solomona. But eventually, Salford gets their hands on the ball, and Holdsworth was glad to just fall on that.
Well, there have been a lot of people talked about the speed of the game this year and the slowing of the play of the ball, but the one thing you'll talk about with this Warrington performance is the skill that they've exhibited, whether it be a Solomon offload, a kick from Lee Breers, some accurate passing. They really have demonstrated the full array of skills that rugby league has to offer.
Smith across the field, his try, which gave Salford a bit of a hope in that early on in the game. A distant memory for the Salford City Reds. And then Jeremy Smith with a not too effective kick downfield, which Riley rushes back towards the Salford defence. Took a knock there, Riley, just still gathering himself, and Cooper as well in a bit of trouble in back play. He's had a visit from the physio. Riley still, I think, gathering things other than his thoughts at the moment. And waving away the physio. 4 tackles gone. Anderson to Ben Harrison. Harrison already an Irish international. I wonder if he has a future as an England international. I'll knock on from Cooper there. Cooper hangs his head in frustration.
But again, Salford not been able to control the tackle. The offloads that Warrington are getting this second half, as well as the offloads, they've actually made 53 more tackles. Warrington have made 99, Salford 152. That is what's taken the energy out of this Salford side.
9 tries to the Warrington Wolves so far. All the backs have scored, bar Chris Bridge. So the pressure is on the Warrington Wolves centre to get his name on the score sheet, surely. Probably don't think about things like that as long as you're...
A lot of centres like to think that they're providers, Bill. I think that they take greater pride in knowing that they're creating the opportunities, getting the ball quickly to the man outside. And
well, he
certainly did that, didn't he?
Did that for Myler's try, yeah. Oh, and Breers looking for the intercept, stretch for that, but couldn't quite get a hold of it. But he was away for another try if he had done.
Well, he took his chance. He just couldn't pull that in. He was reaching for it, but he's come out the line. He's got to make a play for it. Unfortunately for Lee Breers and Warrington, he knocked the ball forward. Salford get the head and feet.
Well, Warrington can afford such frivolities in the situation they're in here. It's not quite such a happy prospect for this Salford City Red side as Ashley Gibson comes weaving across the field, then back, and loses ground in actual fact. Here's Ryan Boyle, who's shown up well since his move from Castleford on a 2-year deal to the Salford City Reds, the former Lock Lane forward. Sibbett. Now it's with Jeremy Smith, the Kiwi international. They keep this ball alive. Holdsworth puts the kick in, inviting Ratchford to chase, but just wasn't right on the angle. Ratchford, though, with a good follow-up tackle on Chris Riley, stopping his progress.
Well, better play by Salford. Jeremy Smith getting out from dummy half, asking a few questions from this Warrington defence.
Salford rushing up quickly to close down Warrington, stop their progress as we head towards the hour mark in this game. Still to come, Leeds against Wakefield, and the two teams ready for that. There's a penalty for Warrington, another penalty conceded. Ryan Boyle disputing that decision. Cunning little ploy there, just to have a little nudge as at the ball as it was Luke Swain, in fact, who was the culprit as he retreated.
David, don't go looking for him. On the line.
So Warrington through the penalty up to the halfway line.
Well, there's no doubt over the winner. The only question is now, what else can Warrington treat us to in this game, I think. They're under no pressure here now, other than the pressure they impose upon themselves and the standards that they've set.
Well, now Warrington head the try-scoring charts with these 9 tries today. They have become the most prolific try-scoring team in Super League this season, ahead of the Wigan Warriors. Have to see what Wigan can do against the Huddersfield Giants tomorrow. Don't think they'll find a defence quite so generous as the Reds have been this afternoon. Atkins stepping his way forward a few paces there. Referee Child calls held and then gives the penalty. As Fitzpatrick, well, I don't think Carl Fitzpatrick could do an awful lot else there. He was still tangled up in the tackle and was falling backwards.
It's funny, isn't it? 4 of them couldn't get him down, and little Carl Fitzpatrick did it on his own.
So the penalty, another one, and Bridge will fancy his chances, and Riley Hicks was looking rather. Here's McCarthy now. Tyrone McCarthy is held just short of that try line. Bridge. Here's Ben Harrison. And Harrison, another good ball around the corner, aiming for Myler, but he couldn't find him, and instead it's picked off. Ashley Gibson it was who just got his hands to the ball first there. They're trying everything now, this Warrington side.
It's a real test of character now if you're a Salford player wearing a red shirt. You know you're going to face some pain. There's some humiliation on the scoreboard already. And there's some physical pain when you carry this ball forward, because Warrington are prepared to hit them, but they moved it wide to Tallow. Still want to try as all possible to continue to play.
Little band of Salford City Red supporters away at one end of the ground, defiantly cheering their side on despite the predicament that faces them, but they have got a penalty for the high shot.
Well, they've got a penalty. You've got to offer yourself. Mike Cooper goes high on Adamson.
All the way, come on, come on.
Gives that penalty away, but it's a tough ask now from this Salford side. The game's gone, but they've still got to keep performing until this 80 minutes. Until the game's finished.
So this is a good chance for the Salford City Reds to reverse the trend that we've seen in the second half here, which has been a dominant Warrington side running in the tries. And Ratchford worked hard for his side. Solomona finishing off the tackle. Now here's Holdsworth, stabs the kick through. Smith is chasing, but he was offside. And he looked it, he's disgusted with the decision, but James Child was adamant that Jeremy Smith had set off in advance, and there he is. Well, is that worth a look?
Let's go.
Well, if you look at the lines on the pitch, you've got to say Carl Fitzpatrick or Jeremy Smith just on. But James Child said, I don't have to have a look at it. I'm confident with my decision.
Wait for his fault.
Hard done by, you'd have to say, for the Salford City Reds.
But the positive for Sean McRae is that they're still trying things. They've not given it up. They're 38 points behind.
I'll tell you, they've given away some penalties today. We've just seen the graphic come up there. That's number 12 for the day.
12-3, isn't it?
12-3, that's going to murder you. Against a team like Warrington that are running hot in the league, you make your life difficult in this game.
Well, we've had 12 penalties in the
Give
game.
away 12
All you're trying to do is slow the game down. We're going to sort it out before I take further action. So variety of offences.
Luke Adamson.
Oh, look at this kick again here. The rule state both feet have to be behind the ball when it's kicked. And Sean McRae's reaction, well, he'll accept it.
Wait for his fault. Wait till his fault.
Would you like to see Warrington possibly play with a little bit more discipline now for these last 16 or 15 minutes? And then they can really rack up points. They've just been a little bit loose in some of the things that they've tried. I appreciate, you know, they're on top and they're trying to get the ball around a bit I think a little bit more discipline in attack, and they can score.
Discipline with the ball, because they've been very disciplined in defence.
Yeah.
No, Brian, throw it around everywhere.
Okay, Harlem Globetrotters, here we come.
Yeah, come on, Warrington. Show us what you've got.
Well, they're doing that now with Bridge, and Bridge finds Tyrone McCarthy. Big hit on McCarthy, got ball and the tackle at the same time there. Vinnie Anderson. Myler now, will he try something? Monaghan tries to link up with Ben Harrison. It didn't come off. And it's going to be head and feet to the Salford City Reds after that. And has got a little bit sloppy now. Harrison couldn't take the pass.
And just if some of these passes would stick for Warrington, they've got the right men running, the right holds. Ben Harrison on that occasion couldn't take it in.
Tight ends, Chris, arms around. Stay.
Is that the discipline you're on about, Brian?
I think a bit. I know these tries, they have got more tries in them, I think, this Warrington side, but I think get through your set a little bit more control with the ball. Don't try the impossible. I mean, you're putting Salford to the sword. You don't have to try the impossible.
Lee Breer's off the field, but the word from the sideline from Rod is that it's just, well, he's rotating. Or he's being rotated, in fact, with one eye on what's coming up next weekend, a big cup game against the Giants. And the job done satisfactorily here this afternoon in Edinburgh. But Salford, can they salvage something here? Not with passes like that.
Rugby, hadn't it? Shifting it to the right, bit of confidence, bringing it back to left, finding some space, and then the pass goes behind the man. Oh, what a killer.
Willie Talau, this winner of Challenge Cup and Grand Final glory in his St Helens days. That League and Cup double in 2006, of course. A shake of the head and wry look from Talau, summing up really what has been a pretty miserable afternoon for this Salford City Reds, and symptomatic of what has been a pretty poor season for them so far. You know, off the field, encouragement for the Salford City Reds with work due to start. Eventually, we hear on the new stadium the diggers moving in the next few weeks, allegedly.
Yeah, I think it's about the time when we go there to see them. Salford play St Helens, don't they, on Sky in just a couple of weeks' time. It coincides nicely with that.
But here come the Warrington Wolves with Simon Grix. Monaghan and Bridge will join the backs on the score sheet. Finally gets his name on the list. They've all scored now, the Wolves backs, and Chris Bridge is the latest of them. And maybe after a little bit of a lapse in their fluidity, the Warrington Wolves just struck there coolly, precisely. The pass is stuck, and Chris Bridge, another of the Irish internationals out there, gets his third try of the season.
Well, Salford, I suppose, will look back at the mistakes that they made in possession, giving Warrington a chance to attack, so go close to the try line, and players running at pace into holes. Well, unstoppable in this situation. Chris Bridge, a dynamic runner when he has the ball. Timing's perfect. 4 more points, which will become 6, and the supporters who, up until this point, hadn't seen that many tries for Magic Weekend, are starting to get their first share.
Into double figures in this game for the Warrington Wolves. A third different goal kicker for them. It's Bridge again. Adding to the Warrington Wolves points tally here. Well, they just needed 25 to go top of the table. They've done it emphatically with this 56 points to 12 scoreline.
Michael Monaghan is so dangerous. You'll be able to see he takes the ball to line, sieve it, and also Luke Swain just bouncing on the toes, waiting for him to make his play. He made his play, and that man Chris Bridge scored a try under the sticks.
So once again, familiar routine in this game for the Salford City Reds, the restart. And Cooper coming thundering forward.
Sometimes wonder, don't you, whether it's worth going for a shorter kick-off, really, the one that they contest here at this point in time. They've had a lot of time spent in this match where they're having to tackle, and Warrington find it relatively easy here, don't they, with 3 drives to get up towards the halfway line.
Or, Phil, when you lower confidence, you knock it as far down the pitch as you can and try and defend up there.
Well, it's incapable, and the last 60 minutes have shown us they're incapable of defending and containing Warrington in that zone. It's hard in a sport like rugby league, isn't it, where the defenders are taken back 10 metres.
Well, while Warrington have a cup tie to look forward to, Salford will have a weekend off next weekend to lick their wounds after this thumping defeat. Of course, knocked out by Catalan Dragons after a nightmare journey to Perpignan, courtesy of that volcanic ash.
These are all brave carries now. Look at the speed of which Warrington is starting to get off the line.
It's been an impressive display from this Warrington Wolves side. No let up from them. And with generosity like that from the Salford City Reds, it's not surprising that they've got points on the board, and Myler has got another try to his name, his second of the afternoon, and Salford gifting them possession there. They didn't hang around to capitalise on it, and Myler, once a favourite of the Reds, now the villain of the piece as far as Salford are concerned, gets his second try against them today.
Scoring his second try of the game for Warrington.
Taking his personal tally to the season for 9 already. And Warrington just keep accumulating the points here.
A similar trend and pattern to the last try. An error by Salford close to their own half. And Warrington with an extra speed and step. Now here, Myler shows close to try line. What a great try poacher he is. Puts himself between two defenders and bravely dives hard and low over the line. The supporters are thinking that the trip up to Scotland's been all worth it now.
Richie Myler was the star of Salford's last win against Warrington. He got true 2 tries in an 18-16 win on Good Friday last season. Well, he's a star now in Warrington Wolves colours. And Chris Bridge retaining the goal-kicking duties. Surely it's time for somebody else to have a chance. Bridge adds 2 more points.
Well, Richie Myler deserved that. He was the one who got up, put pressure on Salford. They dropped the ball, then he scoots in for the try. But again, Warrington so dangerous from dummy half. They've got so many players who go in there. It's not a dead play. They don't just get the ball, scoop it out wide. They look up and play what's in front of them. He looked up, he saw that Jeremy Smith was standing too wide of the ruck, and it was just a simple dive over for Richie Myler.
62 points to 12 now. We've achieved the highest Magic Weekend scoreline now with this scoreline. Saints against Wigan 57-16. Whisper that in the presence of Wigan supporters back in 2008 in Cardiff. That was the previous highest, but Warrington outstripping that with this performance, and there's still 9 minutes to go.
Tough for the Salford side now, Bill.
You've got to fancy that, well, it's not as though Warrington haven't exactly thrown caution to the wind already in the second half.
Absolutely, and there was a period there where I think they got a little loose. We see an attempted offload, regathered. They got a little loose, but once they put a bit more structure, a bit more discipline into their ball control, they've racked up a couple more tries.
We've got a couple of players on hat-tricks, of course, Myler and Hicks. Both maybe looking to round off a very satisfactory trip to Edinburgh. And they're in possession where they have been for most of the match. Monaghan, who started it all with that early try. Anderson, and they've been able to get the hand free and look for the offload all game of the Warrington Wolves. Anderson very nearly did there. He gets up hobbling a little bit. Tony Smith will be anxiously looking at these little things, hoping that nobody's going to pick up a bang. He's got cover, he's rested players today. Myler hoists that kick. It's Hicks who gathers it. Was he in touch there? Not so, says the touch judge. But it was gathered by Matty Smith anyway.
Something worth mentioning. See Hicks as he... No.
Oh. Almost.
There's a sizable Warrington following here. I think if we get that from some of these bigger clubs...
Bigger than Warrington?
I beg your pardon?
Just can't quite see, could you, whether his left-footed touched the ground as he released the ball. Anyway, Salford have it.
Go on, you were going to say about the...
I was just saying, I mean, they're all packed into the corner down here, but it is a sizable contingent, and good to see so many numbers travelling up from a single club.
Meanwhile, the Luke Robinson fan club are huddled underneath the scoreboard.
Dressed like bananas, are they?
And I think they've had to resign themselves to the fact that it's not quite tropical as they maybe had envisaged coming up to Edinburgh. There they are.
It costs Luke Robinson an absolute fortune every year.
Has he not got a sponsorship from some
fancy
banana
dress
company?
Outfits, tickets, the travel,
grog.
And I was just going to say the alcohol.
Hold, guys. Go.
In fact, Bill, I think the reason why they were in them outfits is to sneak the alcohol in.
I think it's to keep warm.
Hold, 3.
Banana's legendary for their insulating properties. Oh yes,
Never told that.
Oh, yes. It's a well-known fact.
I was never told that at school.
He's got his old house clad in them over the winter periods.
Go.
The loft smells a bit though. Warrington keeping this ball alive. Solomona involved. Doesn't know when to stop. Sometimes it's a liability. When it comes off, it's such a benefit to the side. Monaghan stabs the kick through. Bridge taken out, was he? The Warrington Wolves think so, but nevertheless there was a knock on there. And Matty Smith adjudged to have fumbled that ball. Just picked it up again after it hit the deck.
Well, you know, we're going to see a scrum situation. I hope they get the ball to Ryan Atkins again. I think more often as the season's gone on, they've tried to give the ball to Atkins when the opposition are 5 or more metres away from him. That's what centres like him need. Early ball to show what they can do with the footwork and the strength.
Feed this square, Michael. Stand square to the scrum. Lock in, come on. Hold on. Arms around the second row. Tight heads. Lock in,
Warrington's head and feet then on this 10-metre line into the last 5 minutes, coming up to the last 5 minutes. Hicks dancing his way infield. He's looking for his hat-trick.
Move!
Vinnie Anderson directing operations, points left, looks right, goes left, finds Tyrone McCarthy. Immediately closed down, McCarthy is. Remarkably achieved a Challenge Cup success in only his 3rd appearance last year for the Warrington Wolves, the young Irish international. Hicks, Solomona, trundling onto that ball, gets the try, and another one goes in for the Warrington Wolves. And Monaghan, this time setting that one up with the inch-perfect pass. Solomona timing his run to perfection. And more delight for the Wolves supporters. Solomona, who's had a great record this season, ever present in the last 11 games, which for a player who's had his fair share of injury troubles, that's a good record.
They're starting to turn the screw. Look at the amount of numbers that are coming forward. They've got options. They can hit a flat ball, they can hit somebody out the back, they take the ball forward, they start slowing or stopping the slide from Salford, but Salford have got no answer whatsoever. You can see Daniel holds up, he just stops the slide, takes the wrong option. There's gaps out wide for that man Solomona to go in for the try.
Solomona adds to what is now the biggest score of this Super League 15 season by anybody. And Chris Bridge will add to the misery surely for the Salford City Reds, a dejected bunch of players gathered by those posts. This overhauls at 62 points to 4, Leeds Rhinos win against Harlequins.
It's easy to hold good shape when you've had all the field position, you've had most of the ball in this second half. Solomona, very, very hard man to stop. When he's coming off his own line, he's even tougher to stop when he's on your line. And a dandy little ponytail, if I may say so.
And they do go for the short restart. Your voice carries, Phil. But it didn't come off.
No.
And
that is
Warrington will have the ball.
And that's the argument Terry was making there. You know, you do a short kickoff and it doesn't come off, and suddenly you turn the ball over near the halfway line. Where sometimes you're better off punting it as deep as you can and doing your very, very best to make them come 100 metres as opposed to 50.
They needed to do this earlier on in the game when they were probably 10 points behind on the scoreboard.
I agree. I'm giving the reasons, yeah, for the risks of a short kickoff when you don't get it back.
Well, Salford and Warrington have not had a happy history in this. Well, certainly from Salford's point of view, Warrington have had a happy history against Salford in 2007 in the inaugural Magic Weekend. Warrington beat them 50 points to 18 in Cardiff. Vinnie Anderson got a couple of tries that day. They got 10 touchdowns to the Warrington Wolves, and they've exceeded that with this performance, 68 points to 12. This is champion stuff from this Warrington Wolves side.
Well, they lose the ball there, but it's definitely the offloads in this game that's really hurt Salford. They were lucky that they made the mistake, Warrington. but they just seem to be offloading it well. Every set of 6 that they've had, they've at least made 2, maybe 3 offloads.
And the Warrington Wolves supporters gathered on the far side of that ground, the north stand, I think that is, have just, I think, been doing their maths. The calculators are out, and the chant of "we are top of the league" has just gone up from them. It might only be overnight or until tomorrow afternoon, but it's another landmark for this Warrington side that is looking as though it can challenge for a major honour this season, or again this season.
I think, Bill, what will give them the most satisfaction, and I think it applies to teams right across Super League, is the fact that they've only conceded 2 tries in this game.
Well, Ratchford trying to do something about that in the last minutes here. Kicks it ahead, chases it himself, and rounds it off with the try.
Make that 3 tries.
That's his 2nd of the game. And hats off to Stefan Ratchford for commitment for the full 80 minutes here. Okay, he's come up with a couple of errors, but he's come up with a couple of tries as well. He gets a pat on the back from his teammates, and he gets the applause from the neutrals here as well for some great handling there, some great vision to chip ahead, follow up, and get another try.
This is talent. Stefan Ratchford. They always say, give the ball to someone who can come up with something. Stefan Ratchford just pushes Richie Myler off. He kicks the ball, he regathers it. It comes off Rhys Williams. He then chips over Chris Riley. Fantastic play by Stefan Ratchford.
Well, Ratchford and Myler, there used to be a double act at the Salford City Reds. Myler now very much a part of this Warrington Wolves side, and on the scoreboard with 2 tries today. Ratchford with the try, and Holdsworth with the conversion. Can he land this just to give something for the Salford supporters to cheer? He can't, but the last act of what has been a convincing Warrington Wolves victory was a try from Stefan Ratchford to give the Salford City Reds fans something to cheer about. There he is, but a look of sombre reflection on the face of Stefan Ratchford, a bit of personal glory, but not a lot else for the Salford side. The glory has all gone to a Warrington team who, with this 68 points to 16 victory, have gone to the top of the Super League table. Tries galore, all the backs getting on the score sheet. Myler with 2 against his former club. He and Ratchford just embracing there. Chris Hicks with a brace as well. And goal kickers, well, Westwood on target, Bridge on target, Breers on target for the Warrington Wolves. It has been an emphatic Warrington victory here in Edinburgh. As I said, the biggest win of this Super League season, the biggest win of the Magic Weekend series. It's all gone right for this Warrington Wolves side. It's all gone right for Richie Myler. The big money signing from the Salford City Reds has returned to haunt his former club with this brace of tries. But it's not about one man, it's been about a Warrington performance right across the board that has just oozed class from likes of Solomona, but from, in the view of the man of the match adjudicators, especially from that man, Richie Myler. He is man of the match, and he's with Rod.
Richie, well done. That was a highly impressive performance, the highest score we've ever seen in a Magic Weekend match. Just from a player's point of view, give us a perspective of how well Warrington played out there.
Oh yeah, I thought we really dug deep and stuck to a game plan, but defence was a bit, we didn't really want to let tries in, and we let 3 in. Fair enough, that was a bit fluky try at the end, but great credit to Salford, they played well.
People often make a lot of a player playing against his old club and say it must be great to knock over his old club. Is it sweeter?
No, it's just sweet to get 2 points, really. We're doing something great at Warrington, and we just want to keep building on it.
They won the Cup last year. You weren't at Warrington at the time, obviously, but do you get the feeling this is a grand final winning team?
Oh, definitely. We've got a great squad. It takes a squad to win a championship, so that's what we want to do.
Bottle of champagne for you, Rich, and also £100 to the charity of your choice. Where will you be sending that for us?
The Benevolent Fund, please.
OK, thanks, Richard. Let's bring in Tony Smith, the Warrington coach. Tony, well done. Warrington have gone top of the league tonight, at least for 24 hours. You're laughing. How much does that mean?
Not a whole lot at the moment. I know there's other games up, up for grabs this weekend. We're happy with what we're doing at the moment, and we had a good day today. We played Salford not so long ago and had a real tough task, and you know, so we came here pretty well armed for today.
You started very well in the previous two games. I don't know if you saw much of those, but the favourites started very slowly and were sluggish. Was that important? Was that part of the game plan to get out the traps and really dominate from the word go?
Yeah, well, we've been able to do that last couple of weeks now, and you know, it's an area that we've been a bit shaky on. So, you know, I was pleased. I was pleased for today, but you know, I'm really looking forward to going home and watching this on replay tonight, because I'm really looking forward to Bill on commentary. A bit of breath of fresh air for me.
Thanks, Tony. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Tony Smith's view on the match, and Tony Smith's view on a 68-16 victory. Warrington are top of the Super League tonight. We said they had to win by 25 points. They did it with room to spare. The biggest ever points total by a team in this Magic series. Phil, a fantastic performance from Warrington.
Well, yes, you need a variety of different ways of scoring tries and a variety of different players to score them. And Warrington in the second half did that. Here's a kick play, one from Breers for Anderson to score. And they spaced the tries out, didn't they, through the second half? I thought there was some good entertainment. Here we see them shift the ball wide to the right, and a player I like to watch. He's dangerous, he's exciting when he has the ball, pushes through 3 defenders, but the support player was what's made Richie Myler such a hot property in this sport. On this occasion, well, it's Bridge who is the try scorer, pushes between the defenders, and that took them over the 50-point mark. Again, Salford red errors gave them Warrington chance at this point in the field. We're just seeing the final point, really, of the play after Salford have come up with mistakes. Nice passing play there for Solomon to score. But I was pleased, you know, that Stefan Ratchford did score the final try this match, because I thought at times, particularly in the first half, he showed that he was here to compete. And I thought, again, a nice bit of skill, kicks the ball through, takes on some opponents, and a player who I think has a massive future in the game. Well done, Stefan Ratchford.
Yes, something for the Salford supporters to enjoy, I suppose, in a peculiar sort of way. But there's the proof of the pudding. The Warrington Wolves are top of the table on points difference, and at the end of the season, that 68 points that they've scored here today could make a massive difference to their Old Trafford ambitions. They're top of the table, at least for 24 hours. We'll see what Wigan and Saints have to say about that tomorrow. And, well, it doesn't get any easier for the Salford City Reds, does it? And that has made a massive dent in their points for and against as well. Well, I hope